Today, I'm going to walk you guys through how I like to add a name to my baseball bag tag. Now, I sell the baseball tag as a digital design, and I need to make 8 tags. So I want to make 8 tags in one hooping, and they need 8 different names. I've tried multiple ways of doing this, and so I'm going to share with you guys today the way that I find to be the easiest. It is not the only way, and some may say not the best way, but it's the way that I keep it clear in my head, and I know that, my tags are going to come out even and the words are going to be right and the steps are going to be in order. So let's get going. So first of all, I need to bring in my my tag, my baseball tag. And so here it is. I already have it chosen. My hoop is going in the wrong direction. So right down here at the bottom, it says hoop. I'm going to double click and it will change the direction of my hoop. I'm going to move my baseball tag right to my corner. I don't want it too close in the corner. I need to do some cutting around because I'm going to cut this. This is an in the hoop design. So I'm going to cut it in the hoop. And so I don't want it too close to my corner. I am using my frame hoop on the buy for the first time today. And so I also don't want to stretch my design too much until I get used to using that frame. So I have it set at about 13 by 19. And we'll see how that goes. So the first thing I do is I like to go over here and not just my designs, but any design, any bag tag design that I purchase, I like to remove this satin stitch, the hole at the top that's used for the hardware, like to put a split ring in. I don't usually use those because I like to just use hardware. I like to find my center, punch a hole, and use an eyelet. And so that is gone, first thing. It just keeps me from having to remember to skip the step when I get over to the machine. And so I have placement. It's going to stitch on my stabilizer. Tack down. It's going to tack down my base fabric. It's going to stitch some decorative stitches. It's going to allow me to put a back panel on to hide all the bobbin stitches on the back. And then I'm going to cut around it. I'm going to clean up the front and the back of the hoop, cutting closely around the stitches without cutting those stitches. And then it's going to lay down the satin stitch and a decorative top stitch. When I click off, I can see over here in the panel, in the properties panel, that each of these are a different color. And that's exactly what I need because we're going to need to color sort. So the next thing I want to do, this is the way where I said there are many different ways to do it. I like to add my name. So I clicked on the A. The 3 letters came up. I'm going to type in my name, all capital. I'm going to say enter. I'm going to go and choose my font, which I already know what I want. I'm going to use... I should have had it picked out and pulled to the side so I could find it easily. Okay, here it is. So here is my font, and I'm just going to bring it right over here and put it in there. I'm going to try to zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. So it is centered just about nicely. I'm going to use these buttons over here. Let me move this up some so you can see it a little better. So it says top and bottom. So when the word is selected, the name, and it says top and bottom. So the default is curve and it's in the middle. I like to curve my top and I like to curve it down. And I like to peak my bottom and I like to peak that down. It is just personal preference. You can curve the top and bottom. You have to play around with these and see the difference. If I curve my bottom, then I need to bring it out. It just looks different to me, but I feel like I get a better outcome when I peek the bottom and then pull it in. It is just a personal choice. So again, if you play around with these, you can change the beginning, like when you want it to look like a flag, or you could let it start off small and go big, like for the word cheer when you're using like a megaphone, where you want the words to expand at the end. So you can do all the things, and then you can slant them and space them and all that, all down here. And then I'm just running through this because we're here, and this is where the style, if you want them to go up and down, if you want them to be like a monogram, if you want them to be like an oval, they're just all different ways or all different styles that you can style your letters in here. So I stretch those kind of a lot. So I'm going to go up to stitch, and I'm going to add a little bit of satin in there. I just want to fill those up. Let me see if I add a little compensation to it. I don't know that it really needed that. We'll leave it at 1. And so I think this looks good. When I come down, it looks pretty good. So I have everything here. I want to choose it all. I want all of this. I need to come down so I'm scrolling with my mouse to zoom in and out. I need to come down so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go over to utility. This is a function of Enthusiast, and I'm going to say instant repeat. I'm going to choose 4 across. Of course, this is right in the way. And then down, I'm going to choose 1. So if you see, I'm going to go back down. So the up and down is 2, and then across, you can do it like that. And then the horizontal spacing, I need to spread them out. I need to be able to cut in between them. And then my vertical spacing, I need to spread them out. Need to cut in between them. And then I'm going to say, okay. So they are centered. So I need to color sort, because if we look over here, we have, let's do this. So it's going to do that ball, that ball, that ball. And so that's going to be a lot of pulling it on and off the hoop if we leave it like this. So the way the way I like to do it part comes in. I like to choose the letters. I'm going to hold the control key, and I'm only choosing the words, the name. I let go of control, and now I click control again to choose those. I'm going to say copy. I'm going to open a new page, and I'm going to say paste. I'm going to click the hoop just to turn the hoop the right way. So there are the words. I'm going to go back over here. They're still selected, and I'm going to delete them. I like to do it this way because sometimes when you are color sorting, you need to change that BX font or those letters to stitches. And then once you do that, you cannot come back and alter the names of the words. And so a lot of times when the names need to be different, or the name is too big to fit in the space, I need to choose a different font. Some fonts don't go well with some words. And so there's just a lot of things. It just serves me better to just to do it this way. So I deleted them. So they are all gone. And now I want to go up here and I want to color sort. I want to sort this whole page. So it says, and so I went to utility, I picked color sort, and then it says the design page has been reduced by 42 colors. So I'm going to say new view. I'm going to change my hoop back around by clicking hoop at the bottom. I need to go into settings and change my hoop because this is the direction that I like to use it in. But for right now, we're just going to leave it here. And so let's see what we have. So everything's there, right? Placement, tack down, decorative laces, put the back on, satin border, decorative top stitch. We need to go back and find our name, our words, our letters. They're all selected. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste them. So they paste in there perfectly, right? So the color sort is up here. My names are down here. So Tyler is one I need to keep. I have a list of my names, and I am going to fix these names. And so first I have Marcus, and see how it's longer. It's going to be a personal choice of when you want to do this. I like to do it like this because then if I made any spelling mistakes or anything, it just has served me better to be able to fix it like this. And so my next word is Dean. My next name is Aries. My next name is Matt. Oh, I have to go back because I hit like a hot key because I wasn't in the text box typing in this text. So what do I need to do? I just need to go back to my 3D view. So it should have said, where was I? Matt, M-A-T-T, enter. This one should be, I am not patient enough sometimes, and I wanted to move faster, and I'm clicking and just doing too much. This one should be Logan, Logan, enter. It looks a little bit big. The N is kind of going over there. This one, Tyler, should say Sean. And I did it again. I typed right over there instead of going in the box and making the correction. And this one should say Braden. Now this is the one, an example of needing to change something. And so it's so long, I could squeeze it in, but I'm going to go up here and I'm going to pick the smaller size. Oh, that's really small. Let's see, about 0.75. Okay, yes. So I want to pick the smaller size just because when you're sizing stuff, like moving it too much is not going to do well. The stitches just may not look as clean. Okay, so that's good. So that's like an example of one I had to fix. This one, Sean, looks like the N. So I'm going to click on the N and go down just a little. It's on my satin stitches. Actually, it needs to come back up so it'll match the S. I should have left it alone. Oh. And so I clicked, I chose the word, and then I clicked on the green box in the middle, which only put the bounding box around the N, and that allowed me just to manipulate that one letter. I actually think they look okay. Matt probably could come down a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing. So they're all highlighted. I'm going to choose this T and just come down just a little bit, just so that it's not over those satin stitches. Aries looks up a little high. And so I think that looks pretty good. And so it's color sorted already. Remember we said that. Placement, tack down, decorative laces. So I need these names to stitch right after the decorative laces and right before the putting the back on. So I'm going to highlight all the names. I'm holding shift, clicking the first and the last one. And then I just need to get my cursor on the wording and drag it so I can see where it says the first letters. I want it right under the line, and it's perfect. So there it is. It is placement, tack down of my back fabric, decorative laces, the names, and then it's going to let me put my back panel, cut around it, satin stitch, decorative top stitch. And then I said earlier I'm going to put the hole and the hardware. So let's see the stitch simulator. Let's see what it's going to do. This is going to give me all of them. Placement, tack down. It's going to go back. Perfect. So I will meet you guys over at my machine. Okay, here I am at the machine. I'm using my By Mirror flat frame and table. And it stitched out exactly the way the stitch simulator showed it would. It gave me a placement stitch, a tack down stitch, the decorative laces stitch, and then the names. I had to remove the frame from the machine in order to flip it over and add the faux leather to the back because this is a bag tag. I think that the frame would have been a better fit if I were just doing a set of patches, because then I would not have had to unscrew it and remove it from the machine to flip it over. And then once I did that, I unscrewed it, I flipped it over, I put it back on the machine to let it tack down the back. And then I had to take it off and cut around the front and the back panels, which you see me doing here. And so that was kind of a lot of putting on and taking off. I think the frame would have been excellent for a set of patches, and I could have probably, because these ended up being a little over 4 inches, I could have gotten many more on there if I had put them closer together and I still had room at the top, bottom, and on both sides. And so I really just wanted to give this frame a try and not push it to its limits. I didn't want to hit the frame or any of that. I used tearaway and plastic sheeting. So I hooped my plastic sheeting. This was, again, the first time that I used this frame, and it was a little difficult for me to push the clamps on there. And so it was easier to get the clamps on with the plastic sheeting. I do believe that the clamps will loosen up some as I move forward and use it more regularly, because I had to take one off and then it was even easier to put back on the next time. So here you see it giving us the satin stitch around the edges of each ball. I had already taken it off, cut it closely around the edges of the front of each ball, flipped over the hoop and cut closely around the edges of the back. And then I put it back on the machine, or, I clamped it back to the frame, or clamped the frame back to the machine, and then allowed that satin stitch to finish up. It did a good job. There was no registration loss. The names, all of the steps stitched flawlessly, just like we saw them in the stitch simulator. So I will be using my flat frame again, but as I said before, I will save that to use when I'm doing patches or something that only requires hooping at the top. I think this may be giving us the final decorative stitch, because I think I had it separate from the satin stitch. So yes, this is the decorative top stitch around each ball. So then I'm going to take them out of the hoop, clean them up really good, just snip the threads, and they popped right out of there because, again, it was plastic sheeting. Actually, the tearaway stabilizer, I tore it away once I flipped it over to put the back panel on. So I had slid a piece of tearaway under the bottom. I don't know if I said that. So I hooped my plastic sheeting and I slid a piece of tearaway under the bottom because I knew that the stitching was a little heavy.